welcome to another video. And as you can tell from the title of this video, this is just a really quick announcement video about the read along that we're going to be doing starting in June to read all of Thomas Hardy's novels. If you have been around here quite a long time, you will know that I did this before, and it is actually about 3 years ago now that I finished that. But that was something that I did that I just decided I want to do myself. I'm a huge Thomas Hardy fan. I absolutely love his books, and I'd read most of them, I think, at that point, but I really wanted to read all of them. I wanted to reread the ones that I'd read many times and loved, and I wanted to read the rest. And I really like reading authors' works. Again, this is something you'll know if you've been around here a while, but I really like reading them in publication order because I think it really gives you a really great sense of the kind of evolution of an author's talent, really, if you start right with their first novel and work your way up. And I'd really recommend it. It's really great fun. But I did that myself, so that was nearly 4 years ago now that I started that, and I just decided to do it myself. I said people could join in if they wanted to. I think some people read a couple along with me, but it was quite low-key and it was quite kind of just really myself, and I did it for fun, and I filmed videos and put them up. And I was thinking recently I'd quite like to do that again. It's actually been nearly 3 years since I've read a Thomas Hardy novel. I don't think I've read, no, I haven't read any since then. And that makes me sad because I'm a big Hardy fan. But I just kind of decided I wanted to do it and thought, well, I'll post a little survey on the community tab and get people's opinions. And I asked, do you think I should do this? And I got a kind of, yeah, go on, do it, but I'm not going to join in. And no, Jen, you're insane. Why would you do that? And what the other options I gave people: yes, I might join in with a few, or yes, I'll join in with all of them. And actually, I was really surprised at the number of people who said, yeah, I'll join in. But I thought, oh, that's just a survey. Maybe people won't actually do this. So I decided, and I'll tell you in a moment about the things that I set up. But again, I put a little post on the community tab with some information. I guess this was kind of like a soft launch. I set up a Discord, I set up a Patreon, we'll talk about that in a second, a free one. And I just kind of posted on there, but I know not everybody sees the community tab, not everyone looks at those posts. So I wasn't expecting many people, but I've genuinely been really overwhelmed, but in a really good way, at the number of people who want to join in and want to read Thomas Hardy's novels. And I know that some people want to read maybe one or two, some people want to reread the ones that they've already read and they really loved, some people want to try some new ones, and some crazy people like me want to read all of them. And I just think that's so fantastic, and I'm really just overwhelmed by the response that people have had. So like I said, I know not everyone sees those posts, so this might be completely news to lots of people. So this is your official announcement. Starting in June, which is about 3 weeks away now, I thought I'd give people a bit of time to get started. We are going to be reading all of Thomas Hardy's novels in publication order. So we will start with Desperate Remedies, which was his first novel, and we will go all the way up to Jude the Obscure. There is some information on the Discord, which I've set up, which I will drop a link to everything below. I've also set up a Storygraph challenge if you're reading all of them. And I also set up a Patreon. Now, the reason I did this is because I was thinking, I remember previously using Discord for other read-alongs, and some people really don't like Discord. It can be quite overwhelming. There's lots of information, and I know not everybody likes it. But I don't think that YouTube is particularly a good place to post I was going to say multimedia things, but basically text. It's quite hard to do that, and I think some people miss if you post on community tabs. So I thought, well, I need another place, and I was thinking, oh, maybe like an email newsletter or something like that, but they're all really clunky and awful. And then I thought, well, I could set up a Patreon. I can make it free because I think you can do it. I'm pretty sure I've set it up correctly, and I'm sure you'll all tell me if I've done it wrong, but I've set it up so you don't have to pay anything, but you'll get posts when I post them. So I'll post videos, which I'll tell you about in a moment, that I'm going to be making for this read along. I'll post them on Discord and Patreon first before they go live on YouTube, just for fun. And I will also post some kind of text updates to do with some of Hardy's poetry and short stories. So I thought that'd be a really good space to do that. So it gives people lots of opportunity to join in a couple of different ways, and kind of all for free. So all of the links to all of those things will be below. Please come and join in. There's already people chatting on Discord. There's already comments on Patreon, which is really great. And like I said, I'm so overwhelmed that people want to do this. It's great. It's just wonderful. So the plan is that what I will do is I will film a video, which I think is going to go up probably just before the start of each month. or at the very latest on the 1st of the month, but it will go up just before, and I will tell you about the next month's novel, the next novel that we're going to read from Hardy. And the reason I thought I would do that is because I think a lot of people, they're not really sure if they want to read every novel, or they don't know which ones to read or whether they'll like it. And also because I think there is an idea that all of Hardy's novels are just a misery fest. And okay, whilst that's mostly true, they're not all completely miserable. And some of them are slightly less miserable than others, whilst also being really miserable. Anyway, so I thought I would film a video where I just kind of introduce the novel. It won't be any spoilers or anything, it won't tell you a huge amount, but it will just tell you vaguely what the book is about, where I kind of think it sits on the misery scale, about, you know, how grim it is, and just give you a little bit of a sense of the novel, and tell you things like, you know, average page length depending on your edition. And there are some really, really great audiobooks of Hardy's books as well, and I've listened to a lot of them, so I might be able to tell you for particular books about any, you know, really great audiobook narrators, and it gives people a chance to kind of just be introduced to the book and decide if you want to read it or not. So I thought I would do that at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month I will just film a video of my thoughts of my reading that month, and maybe some stuff from the chats that we've been having, so I can pull out some other people's thoughts as well and talk about those. And I think that's probably like a manageable amount for me to do, because my life is very chaotic and busy at the moment, mostly related to my PhD, but everything is sort of ramping up in terms of how much I have to do and how little time I have left. So I really wanted something like this where I could continue reading, I could continue reading things that I know I love, and that I could continue engaging with the book community, which is kind of why well no, it's not kind of why I do this, it's the whole reason I do this. And I think that's sometimes a bit missing when all I post is sort of wrap-ups of what I've read that month. I don't really get that kind of, that community feeling. So this is perfect. This is going to be absolutely wonderful, and I'm really, really excited about it. I thought in October, for October, that what we would do is also, if you want to, read some Thomas Hardy short stories. So I will find some good ones. I've read quite a lot of them. We can talk about those as well. But Thomas Hardy was also a really, really great poet. He's actually probably quite unusual for a writer, I was going to say for a Victorian writer, but for any writer actually, who had a really successful career as a novelist and just stopped writing, and then had a really successful career as a poet. And there is overlap between those two, but he's as well known as a poet as he is as a novelist. And I think sometimes in the kind of novel reading community we can forget that, but his poems are amazing, and he was an incredible poet. So what I thought I would do is every month I will just post a Thomas Hardy poem on Discord and Patreon, and we can have a little bit of a discussion about it, or you can just read it and just enjoy it. You don't even have to comment on it. And yeah, I just thought that'd be a nice little additional Hardy based thing we can do. So to take part in this, you just need to read a Thomas Hardy novel. If you just want to read one, you can do that. You don't even have to join in any of the discussion. If you don't want, you can just watch my videos. You can comment on them if you want, but you can join in on Discord. It's quite an active community over there. You can read the posts on Patreon. You can get those sent direct to your email, which is why I thought it might be good for people to use that platform, so they can just get something in their inbox. And yeah, you can read one novel, you can read them all. And I have spoken about this. This is just the final thing I want to say. I have spoken about this on the Discord, and I think I mentioned it on the Patreon post as well that I did, but we're technically reading them in publication order, because Thomas Hardy's last two novels, The Well-Beloved and Jude the Obscure, I will be reading them, so just like I did last time, so that The Well-Beloved is novel number 13, the penultimate read, and then Jude the Obscure is the last one. Now, Jude the Obscure is a misery fest, like no other Hardy book. I think it's the worst, as in terms of the misery. I think it's one of his best novels, personally, but it is quite miserable. But it was technically published before The Well-Beloved, because it was serialised before The Well-Beloved, and then The Well-Beloved became his last novel. But then Jude the Obscure was published as a complete novel after The Well-Beloved, if that makes sense. So that is the way around that I'm reading them. And the reason for that is that I personally really dislike The Well-Beloved. Like, I've read it twice now, and I will be reading it a third time. Third time lucky. I really don't like it. I think it's an awful book. I think it's like Hardy forgot how to write. It's just terrible. It's just, I really don't like it. Which is really interesting actually. You're reading them in publication order and you see the evolution of this talent. He's getting better and better, and then I don't know what happened. But some people might like it. I don't know, but so far lots of people have commented that they really don't want to read it, and I don't know if that's my influence. I don't think it is. I think other people have read it and also not liked it, but I just think it's a real downer to have read so many books and just had a great time reading them and then to finish with that one. So I flip it around. We read Jude the Obscure last. If you've never read Jude the Obscure, it's miserable. But it is one of my favourites, and when I did this last time, for a very, very long time, I said that Jude the Obscure was my favourite novel of all time. It was my favourite Hardy. I just love everything about it, and I will try and convince the people who hate it that it's a worthwhile novel and that it's good. I think I might be struggling there because lots of people hate it. But actually, when I did this last time, the Woodlanders came out on top, and that became my favourite novel after having read them and reflected. I think the Woodlanders was my favourite, so I don't know what's going to happen this time. It might completely change. I might suddenly start liking Far from the Madding Crowd. I just don't know what's going to happen this time, so I'm so excited for this. You can probably tell that I'm quite excited to be doing this. So we will be starting, like I said, on June the 1st. My Hardy books are behind me here, so I collect Thomas Hardy books. If you're new, you might not know this. I collect Thomas Hardy books, and I try to collect ones with terrible covers. I have some nice ones. You can see some of the nice ones here. I'm just going to grab out the only copy I have of Desperate Remedies, which is actually, it's tabbed from last time. I didn't know I did that. This is actually not a bad edition. I quite like this. So this is the Wordsworth Classics edition, and it's fine. It's quite a nice one, but I'll talk about this more when we do a video. A friend recently that I was working with, and when I finished a job, he gave me a leaving gift, and knows me so well, found a terrible, this is like the worst cover. I really, and it's a copy of The Well Beloved, so if you've got this far in the video, this is my little treat to you. This is a terrible cover, and I don't like this novel. Isn't it miraculous? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it just the best gift anyone has ever received? I absolutely love it. So I think this is a Macmillan, and they did like this whole series of like really awful covers in the 70s where I think people just went to a fancy dress shop and got Victorian costumes. That's actually not Victorian because it's a historical novel, but there's the Mayor of Casterbridge. I love these books. Anyway, throughout these videos I will be showing you more of my terrible Thomas Hardy collection. And I will also be buying, I think, some new books. So I bought some new ones recently. New Hardy, I know, very exciting. So do join me. The first video for Desperate Remedies to try and convince you to read this book will be going up towards the end of May. I don't want to post it too soon. To try and convince you that this is the one that you should read. And I am so excited. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really excited to go on this journey with all of you who are going to be reading even one Hardy novel in any order. And for those of you who plan on doing it all, thank you for coming on this journey with me. I am really, really excited. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know all of your thoughts, all of your comments, absolutely anything in the comments below. And I will see you very soon in another video. Thank you for watching.